Hello everyone, welcome to the TheGamingOcean's Redstone tutorial guide. Today we are going to be talking about adders. Adders are basically giant circuits that will count the number of inputs and display it as a binary number, basically in codes of zeros and ones, and certain outputs being on and certain outputs being off. Right now we're going to look at the half adder. The half adder is basically half of a full adder, which is over there, and it's composed of two different levers. Red will be inputs, yellow will be where redstone streams go, black will be gates. Our two gates are going to be an AND and an XOR gate, and our input from a lever is going to go into both an XOR and an AND gate. And the other lever is going to go to the other side of the same AND, the other side of the same XOR. And these will go into our outputs. Now consider these were zeros. Basically in binary, both of them being off are zeros. If one of them was to turn on, we replace that with a 1, and then we convert that number into a number, because it'll be a binary number once we get it. So say I took this, and either lever I switch, doesn't matter which one, it's going to turn, this one's going to turn on. It'll be 0, 1. 0, 1 in binary is equal to 1. So it's saying that one lever is on when you have that flipped. Turn that off, it's still 1. It counts the number of levers. If you add another lever on, that one turns off, so that turns back to a 0. Then this turns on, which makes it a 1. Basically, this is saying 1, 0, which if you translate that from binary, it's 2. It's saying that two levers are on. And once you get the gist of this, this basically just counts the total number of inputs that are on. The input can be anything coming from a lock, people hitting buttons, anything like that. It'll just count the number in binary for you. You can build things to display this as digital numbers, which I'm going to show you in the next video when we break apart our computer. So, now we're going to move on to the full adder. The full adder basically adds one more lever that it counts. It counts up to 3 in binary. There are 4 different states. It's either where they're all off, one lever is on, and it can be any 3 of the levers. It'll give a 1 right there. If any 2 levers, doesn't matter which 2, it'll give a 1 right there and a 0 right there, translating to 2. And if they are all on, it'll give a 1, 1, which in binary it translates over to 3. And basically we have this where we start off with a half adder, which is where a lever goes into one side of an XOR, one side of an AND, and then another lever goes into the other side of an XOR, the other side of an AND. Then we take our the output of our XOR will act as the second input to another half adder. That's why it's called a half adder, because it's one half of a full adder. So we take the output of this XOR from the first half adder, and we use it as one of the inputs into the second half adder, meaning it goes into one side of an XOR, one side of an AND. We also grab a third lever, and we plug that into the other side of that XOR, the other side of that AND. So you can kind of see a general overview of it. Again, keep in mind that black is gates, yellow is streams, red is inputs, and blue are the outputs. Now, basically, this will count in binary for us, assuming that these are zeros and zeros. It doesn't matter which one I have on. It will be 0, 1, which in binary translates to 1. 0, 1, binary translates to 1. 0, 1, binary translates to 1. So that's easy. Now, if we have 2 levers on, it'll be 1, 0. And it doesn't matter which 2. So, and 1, 0 translates to 2. So if I had these 2 levers on, it's still 2 in binary, because we have 2 total inputs on. We could also have these 2 at the beginning on. And it's still 1, 0, which is 2. Now, it'll also, what it does aside from the half adder is it adds one more lever, and this will count to our next state, which will be 3. This basically says 1, 1 translates to 3 in binary, meaning all 3 levers or all 3 of our inputs are on. As you can see, that lever switched, that lever switched, that lever switched. And this will count in binary for us, so it'll tell you the total number of inputs. It's also useful for having different things turn on, where if you have one lever turn on, it's one thing, doesn't matter which lever. Another lever turn on, it's another thing, doesn't matter which lever. And then all three, it'll be a different thing. Or it can be both things, it doesn't really matter. And this kind of just allows you to count in binary with the total number of levers. This is useful for using addition machines added onto our computers and everything. I don't know if we're going to get into that in this tutorial, but that's what they're kind of good for as far as computers go in binary. I also built another one that's slightly easier to read, it's slightly more compact, where I put all three of the levers next to each other. And as you can see, this counts in 1, now it's at 2, now it's at 3 in binary. But I also added a digital display at the top, up here. Basically this will show us in digital numbers. It's 0 levers are flipped. If I flip any 1, it goes to 1 lever flipped. If I go any 2, 2 levers are flipped. If I go any 3, 3 levers are flipped. And it doesn't matter which 2 or which 1. All it matters is that you have 2 in total flipped, or 1 in total flipped. And you can see back here, I built the basic half full adder. One line goes into one side of an AND, another side of an AND, one side of an XOR, other side of an XOR. Then that XOR loops back around because I need to make it slightly more compact. And it goes back into one side of an AND, one side of an XOR. This third output goes from the other side of this other XOR, other side of this other AND. The ANDs over here come together into an OR gate, which comes out over here. And it goes into something called an encoder, which I'll teach you about. It is an encoder, a decoder, then our display, and this allows it to be displayed as a digital number. And we also have the XORs, the last XOR, which goes out here into the other side of the encoder and the other side of our binary output. So these adders are basically just pretty useful for counting in binary if you're still trying to learn. It'll allow you to do simple things like that, just like with the T flip-flop, which we had designed over here. Once we have adders and T flip-flops together, we can start building complex things, which we'll start building computers. And that's what we're going to cover in the next video. So thank you all for watching. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe, and have a nice day.